Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever it is. Welcome to week 11 of the 100 Greatest Artists of All Time. And this week I might offend people because I have a rap artist. To me, 3 rap artists in my 100 is underrepresenting rap. But many rap fans I know with similar taste to me in most ways, one is one too many. I'm also embarrassed that 2 of the 3 artists are white, just the way it is. I can assure you though that the other white rapper after today is not Vanilla Ice. Today we have the Beastie Boys. The Beastie Boys formed in July 81. They weren't originally rap. Originally, they were a hardcore punk band. Three of them is a trio: Mike Diamond, who became Mike D, Adam Yauch, who became MCA, and Adam Horowitz, who became Adrock. Unusually, for a rap group, as I said, they were all white, and all 3 were of Jewish descent. Even with their very first rap record, Cookie Puss in 1983, the use of samples was a big part of their sound, and Cookie Puss was a local club hit. Another early track, Beastie Revolution, was sampled by British Airways later on, and the arch samplers, Beastie Boys, found themselves in the unusual position of being the aggressors in a legal case. They sued British Airways. They earned $40,000 for their trouble. But it took a few more years of graft before they became overnight successes. They snared a few prestigious support slots for the likes of Madonna and Run DMC, but an important ingredient in their success, their early success, was the DJ they used for their live shows, an unknown New York student at the time, a guy called Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin was on the verge of becoming a great hip-hop producer, who would soon form with Russell Simmons the record label Def Jam. Def Jam was the go-to record label in the early days of rap. Their first album, Licensed to Ill, tell you what, can I just adjust the lighting. Can you see me better? There we go. Well, I'm professional telly, do you? Licensed to Ill, the first Beastie Boys record. Oh, still not quite happy. Okay, Licensed to Ill was released in November 1986. Rolling Stone magazine greeted it with a headline, 3 idiots create masterpiece. It became the best-selling rap album of the decade, the first rap album to reach number 1 on the Billboard chart, a monster success. Number 1 for 5 weeks, sold 9 million eventually. At the time, they had a bratish image which did belie their talent. Their biggest hit, You've Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party, and the accompanying video, an MTV favourite, pandered to this image, just portrayed them as sexist jobs really, and in later years the band refused to play the song. I can understand the reasoning, but however childish, it was a superb rock song, so it was disappointing when I saw them live when they they didn't do that early stuff. In the UK, in particular, their image caused trouble. They caught the attention of News of the World and the Sunday papers because Mike D, his stage garb, he had a big Volkswagen logo round his neck, taken from a car, and it created a spate of idiots in the UK nicking VW logos off VW cars. At the time, I was a Volkswagen car owner. Thankfully, nobody took mine, but I wouldn't have been very pleased. There were riots at the concerts. I think we got banned from Liverpool. The Beastie Boys wanted to be taken more seriously. They grew up and left Def Jam to sign with another label, Columbia. Took a few years mulling over the next album, but artistically, the wait was worth it. Paul's Boutique doesn't have the surefire hit tunes of the first album, but sonically, it was a move forward. God, that's a good phrase. Sonically, it was a move forward. I must sound like a proper reviewer. Less of that. Paul's Boutique was a bargain shop in Manhattan, incidentally, and the innovation was they used samples, of course. Using sampling of a piece of music wasn't new, but what was new was that the Beastie Boys just took small segments of songs, not the obvious riffs, which everybody recognised, just small samples. So it was quite an art form to spot which songs had been sampled. I'm not saying we were the only people to do that, but it was a new art, and they took this art to the next level. The downside was it was less commercial. It didn't sell as well as the first album. Only sort of went to number 14 at the time. At the time, it seems a disappointment. With the benefit of hindsight, it has been acknowledged as a classic of its type, and it's become the more influential album of the two first albums. Eventually, it did sell 2 million. The third album was also brilliant, although they did start to play instruments again. Remember, playing instruments were totally new to them. When they were a punk rock band, obviously we used instruments, but when we became a rap band, like most rap bands, they rely mainly on records, which is spun by a DJ and mixed by the DJ. But we used a keyboard player even on Check Your Head. It had a bit of jazz in it, this album, as well as rock and rap, and even a bit of hardcore punk. Apparently, it's been credited as being one of the precursors of new metal. Ill Communication in '94 was returned to number 1 in the album charts. That's the next. That was possibly their best album. Sabotage in particular caused a stir, and because of its heavy guitar, it is perhaps one of a few rap songs which is liked by rock fans too. Perhaps now we've gone past the peak, but the next album nonetheless did see the addition of a full-time DJ who became a quartet with DJ Mix Master Mike. We have our names, don't we, these DJs? But it may not have been as good an album as their previous work, but Intergalactic, the track Intergalactic, stands up proud alongside all the other best Beastie Boys songs, and it went straight in at number 1, both sides of the Atlantic. By now, the band were becoming quite political. Adam Yao tended to make long political speeches whenever he was on a winner's podium at awards ceremonies. He did win quite a lot of awards over their career. He spoke out against Islamophobia. He spoke out about the need for music festivals to do more to prevent sexual assaults. Would the Woodstock '99 event in America had apparently been notoriously bad before that. I only mention this because who would have thought that the teenage brats of their first album would become so serious, and they did remain politically active for the rest of their career, organising concerts against violence and recording anti-war songs. To the Five Boroughs was the next album, came out in 2004. A couple of decent songs, but they were on a downward trajectory, which was only accelerated by the fact that the next album, the mix-up, was wholly instrumental. Didn't sell very well at all. Didn't sell very well, but unlike the Brits, the Grammys have almost an infinite number of different awards for different categories of music. So the Grammys do have a bespoke award for Best Instrumental Record of the Year. The Mix-Up was a shoo-in for that Grammy Award that year. Their last ever album was confusingly called Hot Sauce Committee Part 2. The confusing bit being that there'd never been a Part 1. Apparently they started work on Part 1, but ditched all the songs, allegedly. Did they ditch them, or did some of them end up on Part 2? It's all a bit unclear. But tragically, the career of the band was about to come to an end. The 2012 they made the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in America, but that same year MCA died of cancer, aged only 47, and the band have confirmed no way will they carry on without him. They'll remain as individuals in the music scene, but the Beastie Boys will not reform. But they've left a great legacy. They sold 50 million records worldwide. They were, at times, quite innovative. And they are the biggest selling rap group